in vegetable production.
My SAE was dairy production.
Members can choose from 4 SAEs: entrepreneurship, placement, research and experimentation, and exploratory. But the skills learned are the same no matter what.
My supervised agricultural experience was a lawn care management operation in which I mowed lawns every summer and had the opportunity to work with people and have hands-on skills in working with relationships and planning and record keeping.
I learned about dedication and different things like time management, responsibility,
leadership skills in general, work ethic,
dedication to my work.
So for every student across the nation, an SAE gives them that opportunity, the opportunity to plan, to keep records, and communicate with others.
All right, so the purpose of SAE is to gain work experience in agriculture and build life skills. So hopefully you know that. So what is an SAE? It's a project completed outside of class time. Usually it has to deal with agriculture. There are 6 types of SAEs: entrepreneurship, experimental, analytical, placement, exploratory, and improvement. So the first one is entrepreneurship. So planning, implementing, operating, and assuming financial risk in an agriculture business or farming activities such as raising hogs or operating a farm supply store. So does anybody here that's on currently have a entrepreneurship SAE or job where they do their own business like lawn care or I don't know, training, hunting dogs or anything like that? Nope, no businesses. All right, well, if you come over here to your workbook, you would see that it has examples and then the definition. So it's really hard to see. So in this first box on the first blank, it's blank implementing, operating, and assuming. So that would be planning, implementing, operating, and assuming financial risk. And then the record book type of enterprise. Amount of items bought or sold, expenses, income, efficiency factors, etc. For this blank, it would be efficiency factors. So for the examples, we talked about some examples. Raising hogs to sell, or operating your own lawn business. All right, so our entrepreneurship type is done as far as what we have to type in. So then we're just going to drag this here so that we remember that this is entrepreneurship. Any questions about that so far? All right, experimental, planning and conducting an agricultural experiment using the scientific process or scientific method, such as comparing different levels of protein on animal growth. So for the record book, you would need a review of literature, hypothesis, data log, findings, recommendations, etc. So hopefully by now you've done some kind of science experiment in a class, and that helps you figure out what the scientific process is and the scientific method. But if you're somebody that likes to experiment, this is a good SAE to have because you can just do different experiments, experiment with plant growth. Maybe you want to see if plants grow as well using Gatorade for part of their watering cycle and not all water. There's different things that you could try if you were interested. So this one. right here. There we go. All right, so that is experimental, and then you would just go through and type in the definition here. All right, let's look at our next one. Analytical, you identify an ag problem that cannot be solved by an experiment. You design a plan to investigate and analyze the problem, and then you create something like a marketing display. So like this girl here, she has a board behind her, talks about whether people prefer store or name brand, probably products or feed, you know, different products for animals. And then she did the research, probably sent out a survey, got the data, and then made a board about it. So when we go back to our record book, it would be this one up here. So you drag that over there, and then you type in the correct things here. Placement places students in jobs outside of regular classroom hours that may be paid or unpaid work, such as working at a farm supply store or on a poultry farm. So the record book would have a training agreement signed by the student, teacher, and employer, and parent guardian, which states what each student would do, a record of work hours and their income. So a lot of you probably have jobs, so a lot of you would be able to use placement as your type of SAE. And then we go back to the workbook. Y'all can probably do this as a double screen a little bit easier than I can with so placement would go here. Okay, and then you would fill in again the examples here. Exploratory, so this is usually for like our freshmen or first year ag students, helps them learn about ag and become aware of possible careers through short time spent observing, shadowing, or helping, such as attending a career day, interviewing a vet, or assisting a horse owner. So for their record book, they would need their date, activity, observation, comments, and hours. So we go back to our record book. This one says attending a career day. We know that's an example of exploratory. So we drag that one there. And then improvement is a series of activities that improves the value or appearance of the place of employment, school, home, or community, the efficiency of a business or an enterprise, or the living conditions of the family. Examples include building a fence, computerizing records, remodeling a building, or repairing equipment. So for the record book, it would have the date started, date completed, improvement activity, and steps or tasks involved in the project. So a lot of times improvement can kind of be something that might be done in like a day or a couple days. It's not going to be something that would be a whole semester long thing. So we have our examples here. So we would drag improvement here. and then fill in our details. Any questions on that, the types of SAE? All right, and then this is what you should have completed yesterday. So your life plan, and so we'll kind of talk through this. So if you don't have this done yet, you can take some time today or tomorrow or this weekend or Monday and get it complete. Think about it. So the life plan of, put your name. So what would your life purpose be? If you had to think about what your purpose was, what are you good at? What do you think your purpose might be here so far? And maybe you really have no idea, so you might have to do some deep thinking about it. Maybe you think your purpose is to be a teacher or to be a farmer or to work for your own business, to have your own business, or to be a nurse or a doctor or be a welder or work construction or be a manager somewhere. Think about what you think your purpose here would be. And then how are you going to make it happen? So what are the steps you're going to do to make that happen in the next few years? Metrics of success, I didn't mean to skip this one. So how would you measure success? How is that going to be measured by you? Is that measured in how much money you have? Is that measured in, what level you are in a company? If you're the top, the head honcho, is that measured in if you're happy? Is that measured in, if you have a family and, a roof over your head and plenty to eat, like you're content? Is that how it's measured? What's going to be your measurement of your own success? Your desired way of being. So what would you want to be in your job to make you happy? Would you want to be somebody that talks to people a lot, or would you want to be somebody that doesn't work with people at all, works in a lab or works outside? What would be your way of being in your job? All right, and then think about your goals. So what are your lifetime goals? What's your ultimate goals over your lifespan? Is it to have kids? Some people really want kids and that's their goal. Some people want to have a family. Some people want to have a really good job and make a lot of money. Some people want to just be happy and content. What are your lifetime goals? Kind of think about what those are. And then narrow it down. What's your 10-year goals? In 10 years, are you going to be married by then? Are you going to be done with school? Are you going to be already working a job and working your way up? Are you going to still be living here? What's your goals in 10 years? And then your 1-year goal. So 1 year, 365 days, what do you want to have accomplished by this time next year? Maybe it's something like, just passing this grade level, or reading a certain number of books throughout the year, or getting a job and holding a job for a year. Maybe it's something, different, sports related or accomplishment related. What would be your 1-year goals? And then your 90-day action plan. So what's your action plan in the next 90 days? What can you do in the next 90 days to help you get to these goals that you've listed? Is it to work on your resume and make sure that's ready, or apply for scholarships for college so you can afford it, or just look up scholarships to figure out what you could apply for? Is it to get caught up on your work so that you pass your classes? Is it that you get a job so that you can have money to start saving for what you want in the future? What's the 90-day plan? What's something that you can accomplish in 90 days to meet those goals? What do you want to be known in your community as? Do you want to be known as a jerk with a lot of money? Do you want to be known as someone that's selfless and serves their community? Do you want to just be known as somebody that's happy and, good to be around? Do you want to be known as somebody that provides something for the community? Maybe you're a farmer or, a different business owner that provides a good business for that community. What would you want to be known as? And then you can just type your signature so you don't have to print it to sign it. All right, and then the next thing is just a life map. Pretty much what we already do when we talk about careers. What career do you want to be and why? And then make sure that you look up all the information you need for that. All right, so if you wanted to be a teacher, what kind of education or training would you need? For a teacher, you need to have a 4-year college degree, and you need to have a teaching license. So those are the 2 things you would need for that. Where do you want to be trained? Is there somewhere specific? Especially if you want to do a trade school. Is it that you want to go to Craven's welding program because theirs is really good, or do you want to go to an automotives program, or maybe a certain nursing school, or maybe you want to be trained on the job. So maybe you're ready to go work. So maybe you want to work at Weyerhaeuser and get trained by them, or go into a partnership with like John Deere where they train you as you grow. What kind of training and where would you want to have it? How many years will that training or schooling take? All right, and then give a different plan that still gets to this step. So, whether it's, if you said you need to go to a 4-year college, okay, well, let's think about if that can't happen, what could happen? Could you do a community college, then transfer to a 4-year? If you said that you wanted to get a job right out of high school and make money, well, you apply to jobs and it's not working. You're not getting anything that is a good fit. So what's another plan? Could you maybe enroll in some classes, take some classes, start working towards a degree that would help you get a job, or start maybe working on your own business? What's your other plan if that doesn't work out? Does your career require early training? So is there any kind of training you have to have beforehand? So for example, being a teacher, you have to do student teaching beforehand. So we have to experience the classroom before we actually go out into the classroom. So look that up and see if anything like that is required, such as an internship, any volunteer service, or apprenticeships. So if you want to go to vet school, you have to have, I think it's like maybe 600 hours of volunteer experience with a vet. So, that's something that you would need to think about. And then what high school classes will help you in this path? So what classes have you already taken that would help? And then what classes maybe have you not taken that could help you? Those are some options. And it doesn't have to be just at the high school level. If you're already taking some college classes that are helping you, you could put those as well. All right, and then you can stop there after you've finished all of that if you haven't done it yet. If you want to go ahead and get done with these things, you can, but like I said, we're going to work on these together the next few days. So your workbook is not due yet. I'll let you know when it's technically due, and then you'll have 5 days after that to get it in. I think on the due date, I think I have it sometime next week, which will probably be the case. So you don't have to worry about it being due right now. All right, any questions? Anything that I can help with? Anything you didn't understand? Any of the assignments that you need help with?
No, I'm good.
Thank you, Eli. All right, well, if you need help, please stay on. Feel free to ask. I'm always here to help and guide you. We'll walk through the assignment together if we need to. And some of those we'll walk through next week together. So make sure that you're on for that. But if not, you can go ahead and go, and I will see you tomorrow.
Later.
Later.